is Stephen Miller, this is my family, and this is the story of our journey to accept God's calling in our life to adopt Jude Sarafo and Liam Esriel. April 13th, 2011, we touched down in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa airport for the first time to meet our sons. We started seeing the statistics worldwide of the number of children who don't have families. They're fatherless, they don't have parents, they've been abandoned, they've not been wanted.
At that point, we really felt like it was time to take that leap of faith and start the process. But we didn't know a whole lot. We didn't have a whole lot of clarity, so we just began first by praying about which country we wanted to adopt from. As
we were making those calls to adoption agencies, they seemed to all be pointing towards Ethiopia. We moved forward with this particular agency, put in our application, got on their newsletter. They would send us an email every month. In the left-hand column, there would be pictures of waiting children. And in that left-hand column, there were two boys, Sarafo and Esriel Teresa. I felt strongly in my heart, deep in my heart, that God was saying, these will be your sons someday. And so I responded to the newsletter, emailed our agency and said, can we request to adopt these children formally?
Within an hour, they had sent over a whole, just everything that they had on them. And we just read all the paperwork and we cried as we just read the details of these boys' past in their lives. And it was just so heartbreaking, but we were falling in love with them already.
That very day, we got an email back saying, yeah, you can accept these kids. We were on a fast track to need to raise a lot of money really fast. So we sold coffee and t-shirts, and I made a CD of songs that were kind of inspired by our adoption.
Kenzie, particularly our oldest daughter, she would tell all of her friends at school about her adoption, and she decided she wanted to bake cookies, and she would go around the neighborhood and we would tell the neighbors. She just wanted to help out in so many ways. It was really exciting to see them getting involved and like really wanting to be a part of the process.
It was incredible. The city was not at all what we pictured it to be. The orphan home was not at all what we pictured it to be, but the second we saw our sons, just did something in our hearts, and they knew us. We'd been sending pictures all along and just trying to get to know them and let them get to know us as much as we could. With Ethiopian adoptions, you have to take 2 trips to Addis Ababa. And the first trip is for the court approval there. You actually have to see your child, but then you actually leave and wait for your chance at the embassy. And so we had to go to the orphan home, the care center, that last day and hug them. Jude, my older son, he's just kind of crying. He knows that we're having to leave. So we got back in the States, and it was really, really hard for us because we really felt like we'd left half of our family, half of a world away. Ready to go to get our sons from Ethiopia.
So we flew back to Ethiopia in July to bring our sons home, and we had to stay for 5 days, which we really enjoyed experiencing the country with our boys. And we would talk about, going on the airplane. They would say, yay, aeroplane, yay. So I knew they were excited about going on the airplane, but I'm sure it didn't hit them that they were actually leaving Ethiopia. So we finally made it back to the States. Kira and Kenzie jump out of the car and they're like, where are they, where are they? And Jude and Liam, they seemed to kind of understand, like, okay, this is my family. And they put their arms up and they gave them a hug. You could tell that there was just instantly like kind of this bond that happened. It's definitely the grace of God that they, from the beginning, knew, like, okay, this is my family and I love them. So we've come a long way in 3 months. At this point, they really kind of seem like just happy, healthy kids. They just have an excitement for everything that we do. We say, Hey boys, we're gonna go in the car. Yay, car! Okay boys, we're gonna play outside now. Yay, outside! You know, they're really happy little boys, which is such a blessing. Bringing home the boys and just seeing their little faces each day, waking up and seeing them is a constant reminder, really, of God's calling in our life, to love people.
It's not just about Ethiopia or even Africa. It's really about listening to conviction that the Lord's put on our hearts, and if He's calling you to adopt. It's about raising children in His name and His grace. It's about the heart.